welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic. Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Legacy at the request of Patreon subscriber Rob, and this is Psychic Frog ReScaminator. ReScaminator is the default best deck in Legacy, has been for many months now. Many folks, myself included, think Grief should not be legal in the format anymore. The next ban and restricted update is in August. We'll see if that changes then. In the meantime, we've got ReScaminator, Grief, Reanimate, can also punch a hole for Entomb, Reanimate, giant monsters to turn the corner, and efficient threats in between. The newest of which is Psychic Frog. Early builds of this deck were playing cards like Whale of the Forgotten, just to have something remotely playable that is both blue and black for Grief and Force of Will. Psychic Frog is a lot better than Whale of the Forgotten. This is a real threat on its own. It's difficult to kill with damage-based removal because you can discard cards to make it bigger. ReScaminator is a deck that has cards that it frequently doesn't want anymore. Like if you draw one of the monsters, it was actually really hard to get it into your graveyard from your hand in earlier builds of the deck. You had to brainstorm it away. There was no other way to do that. One of the predators that emerged to fight ReScaminator in the metagame was Mono Red Stompy, featuring the One Ring and main deck Unlicensed Hearse. Psychic Frog solos that deck. They cannot remove it. And all the cards that are locked in your hand by Trinispheres and Chalice of the Voids, dump them onto the Frog. Now it's a 7/7, off we go. Psychic Frog also helps in the mirror match, because one of the worst things that could happen in the mirror is you cycle a troll and your opponent reanimates it, or your opponent griefs and attracts out of your hand and they reanimate that. You can just give your Psychic Frog flying in response to their reanimate, and their target is gone. This card does so much for this deck. It's wild. And on top of all that other stuff, one of the issues with ReScaminator was if the Atraxa or Archon didn't actually connect, or the early troll didn't deal 20, one of the weaknesses of the deck is that it didn't have any real card advantage. It actually has a ton of card disadvantage in exchange for short-term gain. And really, it's Atraxa or hardcasting Grief are ways you can gain card advantage. Psychic Frog, while doing everything else we already talked about, plugs that hole too. This card is very cool, fits this deck perfectly. You really hate to see when the best deck in the format that should probably have a card banned in it also gets a great new tool from a new set. But while it's legal, I'm going to rock with it. This is Psychic Frog ReScaminator. Let's do it. I'm on the play for round 1. I have in my hand a land that enters tapped, a troll, 2 entombs, a brainstorm. The brainstorm is kind of good, but it takes 2 turns to cast it. I'm going to mulligan this. I just think we could do better. And immediately we've done better. I will keep this hand and put basic swamp to the bottom. I have lots of ways to get a swamp in my deck and in my hand right now. I'm going to play the basic island and pass. I can shuffle the brainstorm with troll in my upkeep if I want to do that. If I want to end step a brainstorm, if my opponent isn't applying a ton of pressure, I could just wait and brainstorm normal. Secluded Courtyard. Oh, we're against some creature strategy. Eldrazi is the name of the game here. Okay, I would like to go very hard very quickly. Undercity Sewers. The Daze is not bad. I'm going to put back Sewers and Animate Dead. Or I think I want Animate Dead. I can put back Sewers and Delta and just play this game on 2 lands. Yeah, I think that's how I want to do this. In my upkeep, I'm going to cycle Troll. I'm going to get Underground Sea. They're probably a Wasteland deck, but I don't think they could afford to Wasteland me if they're getting bashed for 1 million damage a turn. I drew a Wasteland of my own that's going to go well with this Daze, but I want the threat in play before I start squeezing. Got a City of Traders. Eldrazi Linebreaker. This thing has Trample. It does a lot of damage. I'm actually going to Daze this. They might pitch a Spirit Guide and resolve it, but if they do that, that's fine. And I could block it this turn, but then we're in a race, and I'd rather just not be erasing them. I'm going to waste City of Traders. That does the most mana. Force of Will, a good follow-up here, and now we're just trying to sprint over the finish line, deal 20, big troll, get in there. I could even animate dead their Eldrazi Linebreaker. I could have done it last turn, but I could definitely do it this turn. I think the Wasteland was better than that. But now this does change the clock meaningfully. Blammo. Okay, this thing gets +1/+0 in haste. That cuts the clock in half. And they are dead on board, and I have a Force of Will. I have Ugin's pretty powerful. How many spells can they cast this turn? Ooh, that's actually really good. That bounces a creature on cast, which means it doesn't matter if I force it. Still going to force it, though. Orcish Bowmaster. Okay, so this gives target creature +X/+0 in haste. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I got them for exactsies here with the ping. You go to 4, then I attack you for 4. Target the Orc army in case there's a combat trick. Sweet. All right, high octane magic. Eldrazi is what's going on over there. We saw some creatures that Fatal Push could kill. Go for the Throat kills everything in their deck. Eldrazi are colorless, but they're not artifacts. We didn't see any Chalice of the Void kind of stuff. That doesn't mean they're not playing it. It would make a lot of sense if they were playing it. Daze was a hero that game, but I don't think it's where I want to be in sideboard games. I still have faith in Force of Will. Orcish Bowmaster seems terrible, even though it did come up that game. Daze and Orcish Bowmaster both showing up in a game where they're going to get boarded out immediately. Okay, just a bunch of removal, the full boat of Brazen Borrowers now. Let's do it. Oof. This hand, if Wasteland was Underground Sea, I would be into this, but it's not, so I'm going to mulligan. I have Psychic Frog, I have Entomb, Animate Dead. I'm going to keep this and bottom Archon of Cruelty. We'll see what they got, because I can just send an Entomb. What they got is Leyline of the Void, which means that this Entomb and Animate Dead go with the Psychic Frog, or I can wait to just Brazen Borrower the Leyline and go off all at once. Colorless spells with mana value 1 or 7 or more cost 1 less. That doesn't matter for Wasteland yet. Colorless creatures you control get +1/+1. That doesn't matter for Wasteland yet. The decision to Wasteland them or just build up to this Brazen Borrower is the decision that's being made right now, and I'm going to try to set up Brazen Borrower. I think putting Archon of Cruelty into play is the most effective thing I can do here. And I'm going to fetch the Undercity Sewers. There's some argument to just not play a land there. And Animate Dead. Like, just don't fetch, so you can play around Wasteland. But I'm chilling. I'm just going to play Wasteland and not use it. Goes Lux Command. They are scrying 2 and drawing a card and making 2/0/1 creatures. Oh, they're 1/2s because of the Lord. That's cool. They bottomed. They could definitely cast an enormous creature right now if they want to. I could go for the Throat, it that heralds the end, which does cut 4 damage off the clock and cuts the mana off of them. I'm gonna just stick to my Reanimator guns here, though, and see if I can punch through. Come on, Black Source. Not a Black Source. Okay, I guess I just pass here. I could Brainstorm, but if I miss, I've completely blown it. But if I hit a Black Source, then I can afford to Wasteland. I actually do want to Brainstorm here. It's a little greedy, but I think it's right. Got there. I'm going to put back one of the frogs and I think the other Brainstorm. And then I can Wasteland. Probably Eldrazi Temple is the one that I don't want to be around the most. Because Ancient Tomb hurts them, and Eye of Ugin is legendary. If they just play out another one, I unlocked a card from their hand. Eye of Ugin represents the most possible mana, though, out of all these options. Okay, they got 4 cards in hand. We know one of them is Leyline of the Void. Sowing Mycospawn, shit. This can exile my land and tutor for a Wasteland. We missed the window here. We're going to lose now. That was too good. I don't know if they just found this green source or if they were setting that up, but that's too much now. I'm going to Entomb and then get Wastelanded and die. Yep, sweet. It's insane how quick the Sowing Mycospawn comes online in these decks. Okay, super dead. All right, a little bit slow there. I had in my answers to Leyline, so I don't feel bad about that. The Daze is interesting, especially on the play now. Daze might be better than Bowmaster. I could back off Animate Dead a little bit If they start with Leyline, that's just something I have to solve for. But I can animate out of their grave. Yeah, I think I'm just going to pivot a couple dazes in my back in and go right to it. This is a grief start. I will keep it. I can grief them and then frog them. They mulled to 6 and had a Leyline, so there's 5 cards in their hand. I can ponder first and maybe find a lower impact black card, then go for the throat to pitch. And I can get the basic here because that casts Psychic Frog. Like if I find a Reanimator and Animate Dead, that's a much freer pitch. Force of Will and Wasteland. I like all these cards. I'm going to go Ponder, Wasteland, Force of Will, and I will keep it. And then I'm going to pitch, go for the throat to grief them. Wow, Mox Diamond and Line Breaker. Mox Diamond is a multicolored source where otherwise they're not doing anything. I don't care about these 2 Wastelands in their hand. Yeah, I'm going to take the Mox. Try to screw them on mana. I do have the Force backup, and I could just get to work with Frog off double basic. There's a Wasteland. I did stack this, my Ponder, in a way, or my, what card was that? Yeah, it was Ponder. I did stack my Ponder in a way that gave me the option to Wasteland if I needed to, but it did tap me out of Force, which I'm a little worried about right now. God damn it. Right. Yep, I blew it. I guess I can't force that anyway, but I could have forced the Mox Diamond. They have 1 card left in their hand, and it's Eye of Ugin. I can make this. Oh, I'll just block. Are you kidding? Send it. Never mind. Psychic Frog busted. Too damn good. Okay, attack with Psychic Frog. I get to do this for freezies. Draw a card. Archon of Cruelty. And then Wasteland the Cavern of Souls. You know, they still have colored mana, but that's okay. They don't have uncounterable mana anymore. And Archon is exactly the type of thing I want to be discarding to Psychic Frog. I do need to get ahead of the race at this point. Discard Archon of Cruelty. Maybe I should have pondered first. If I just find an answer to the Leyline now, that would be really embarrassing. Okay, a second Frog. Do I want that? I can't cast it this turn. I can put Daze in my hand right now. Discard it to Frog. Draw the other Daze. Or I could just shuffle this. Does the second Frog matter? I don't know. It seems really good right now. Okay. Daze, Psychic Frog, Daze. Do not shuffle. Do discard Daze. Attack with the Frog. Do I want to discard Undercity Sewers? I think so. I'm just pushing damage here. I'm just shoving it through. Making it happen. You want to be an Eldrazi deck? I'll show you what an Eldrazi looks like. It looks like a purple frog with 1 big eyeball. I guess that is another eyeball. It's just in the back. Okay, the race is on. I'm drawing Daze right now. I do have Force Blue card in my hand right now, which is worth consideration for how I'm going to move forward in this game. Blue to Delta. I'm going to play the other Frog, and I can discard a bunch of cards to make it big enough to block. Blue to Delta is not helping me in any other way. Right, they've got a lot of mana. None of it's Cavern of Souls. Myco Spawn, Con Queso. It's going to exile 1 of my lands. Please target the island. Sick. Right, that means I can Daze to save this land. I can also make my frogs bigger. And let's see what land they tutor for. Is there a Maze of Ith or some miserable crap here? Or do they just ramp? Secluded Courtyard, okay. They're just getting colored mana. They can give the Myco Spawn haste, but they can't really attack here. This is fine. My creatures are bigger than theirs. I'm not going to force this. 5-3. I can make a 5-6. And I will. If they attack, I will dump into this frog every single card that I have and eat their creature. They're hellbent. It's all about size right now. Okay, yep. They just couldn't attack. Okay, I'm representing 10 power right now. They're representing 8 power on the backswing. And I still have Force up. They didn't tutor a Cavern of Souls. They got Secluded Courtyard instead. Can they afford to let me draw 2 cards? I don't think so. I'm going to attack with both frogs. Give them some decisions to make. Discard, Polluted Delta, and Ponder. Kill your creature. I draw a card. I have Force Blue card back up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're still pretty far away from Eye of Ugin. Yeah, Psychic Frog, just bigger than all the creatures in the Eldrazi deck. Leyline of the Void, Triple Wasteland, who cares? GG.
This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks, and groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there.
I'm on the play in round 2. I have the Archon in my hand, but I do have Brainstorm that can clear it. I could even, on turn 2, fetch for Undercity Sewers, Brainstorm in response to its trigger, put Archon in the graveyard. I'm actually going to keep this. It's asking for a little more than I normally want a scam hand to ask for. But my plan is to play Pluto Delta and pass, and if I draw any black source, I can have a turn 2 Archon with Daze backup. By fetching for the black source, I need a route to Underground Sea, or an Undercity Sewers. So fetch land Underground Sea. Is that even true? What am I saying right now? Did I just make all that up? Yeah, okay. I miscounted. Somehow I thought I could get a tapped land and cast Brainstorm and cast Reanimate in the same turn. All right, brain short-circuited for a second there. We're just going to grind through this fair and square then. Skark Prospector. I'm not going to Daze that. I'm also not going to fetch. Okay, there is the swamp I was looking for. I'm going to fetch for Undercity Sewers, and then Brainstorm in response to this trigger. I'm going to put back Wasteland and Archon of Cruelty. I'm going to put Archon of Cruelty in the graveyard. And now that I've come up with Grief Black card, I'm also going to do that. We've got no second land. Boardmaster, Sling Gang Lieutenant, War Chief, Broadside Bombardiers. I want this War Marshal. I think that's the one that could make this game go wrong the fastest. But they're in a lot of trouble if they don't hit a land, because I could Daze whatever they play. If they do hit a land, they're facing down Archon. Aether Vial's kind of a pain in the tuchus, but nothing to be done about it. They can pay for Daze by sacking Prospector, who's just going to die to the Archon trigger anyway. So just send it. They discarded Lieutenant, and I drew another Reanimate. That's funny. Would I rather have Sling Gang Lieutenant or Grief? That's actually really close. I'll start with Ponder, then I can make more informed decisions. Or I could just have Atraxa next turn. That is certainly an Entomb that I drew. Okay, don't shuffle. Play the Swamp. I'd like Atraxa next turn. That's my decision. Arid Mesa. Another basic. I'm going to Daze basically anything here. I just don't want them to get anything going. And that creature, when it dies, they flip a card. Entomb Atraxa in the end step. I'm going to attack first, gain the life. Sick, another Entomb. We're going nuts. I'm out of big things to Entomb, though. And they've got Broadside Bombardiers in their hand. I clicked the wrong thing, but Broadside Bombardiers is the card that's in their hand. Atraxa puts me to 9. Broadside Bombardiers cannot solo me from that spot. Cool. That was a complete destruction of a fair deck with this stupid deck. Fatal Push looks good. Yeah, I'm not worried about much here. You go for the throat, kills anything in their deck. Fatal Push does it efficiently. I guess, like, Goblin Lackey start is where I have some concern. I assume they're going to bring in Graveyard Hate. I don't think I want these Brazen Borrowers. I could shave an Animate Dead and some of these Dazes. I guess shaving that many Dazes does make room for a Brazen Borrower. Explosives can kill a board full of a bunch of creatures, but I don't think that's the axis I want to play this game on. Do I want 1 Daze? Does that do anything? It ups my blue count for these forces that I do want, because getting Goblin Lackey checked is one of the things I'm worried about happening. Brazen Borrower is also blue and might be better than Daze. Animate Dead keeps my velocity high if they don't have Graveyard Hate ready to go. I think I'll go 0 Daze on the draw, and I'll probably change that on the play. Well, I have Lackey answered multiple different ways. I'm going to keep this. I can Fatal Push the Lackey, or I could Scam Grief and block the Lackey, which is a messed up way to answer a Lackey. Okay, they mull to 6 and put in 2 Leyline of the Void. So they have a 4-card hand. Aether Vial. Alright. They did a good job fending all that off. Whatever Goblin is in your hand, I'd like to own it. Troll is another mana. I feel like having Fatal Push in my hand is going to be valuable. But I have to lose either Push or Troll here if I want to take a Goblin out of their hand. If I pitch Troll or Push and there's nothing worth reanimating in their graveyard, then I've wasted the free or the freest interaction here. I think with the face-up Wasteland, I want to keep the Troll. I'm going to pitch Fatal Push and try to have a cool Goblin in play right now. Oh, they got me so good. All right, I played into that one. I love doing that to scam, and kudos to my opponent for keeping that hand. The whole go ahead grief me or go ahead Thoughtseize me. Love that shit. I do have 2 basics. I will be fetching them. Okay. I don't think Wasteland helps me. Reanimate's definitely useless. I mean, I could Wasteland their Badlands eventually. The Wasteland also gets me closer to casting Grief. Yeah, I'm actually going to draw and take the Wasteland here. Because now I can cycle for Underground Sea and get to a point where maybe I cast Grief someday. And now the Borrowers are up. Goblin Lackey, okay. And that Fatal Push, tragically in exile. Just bet on the wrong horse. I'm going to get this Swamp, and I'm going to cycle for Underground Sea. I can bounce Goblin Lackey next turn. Oh, or I could just top deck Orcish Bowmasters and kill it. How about them apples? Probably could have waited for combat. Maybe they vial in something that's easier to kill. Or I get 2 kills somehow. I'm just going to sit this Wasteland in play. If they waste me, that clears a Wasteland, and then I waste them. Crater Maker, that can kill Bowmaster or whatever. But they are Hellbent, which means this Grief's a lot worse. They did not block. Or did not attack, did not force me to block. Animate dead. Not a card I'm super interested in right now. Maybe I could Grief a Slinking Lieutenant out of their hand right now. That'd be so sick. Alright, Cavern of Souls. Grief missed, still a 3-2. If they sack their Crater Maker to kill Grief, I can Animate Dead it, clear their Aether Vial, and Wasteland them. Vial stays on 3. They could just waste both my targets right now. They rip a 4-drop in the correct order. I'm so bummed out right now. This is exactly the card that I wanted to hit last turn with Grief. Sweet, there it is. Okay. It's fine. We'll figure it out. Force of Will, completely irrelevant. I will present an attack in combat. So if I Brazen Borrower to bounce one of these, it'll just fizzle, and then I don't get the creature either. I don't think I want to do that. I'll just take the trade. And then I'm going to Petty Theft Aether Vial. And do I need to Wasteland them at this point, or do I want Wasteland available to me? Yeah, I'll waste the Cavern. That turns on the Force in my hand. Now they have to Wasteland me to keep me from deploying a 3-1 flyer. I'm not going to force the Vial. Wasteland, I'll float a black, keep them guessing. Okay, we're all chilling. They're Hellbent. Another Wasteland for me. I'm just cacking it off. Take that Badlands. Another Vial, still Hellbent. I'm just going to go to my turn. Another Wasteland. You love to see him. Just rolling off the top like this. All I need in life is an island to get the beats going. But we're doing this instead. It's fine. It's fine. We're in an awkward spot with Aether Vial because they have 2 of them. It becomes a lot harder to control either of them, and because they're Hellbent, just what Vial represents is gated by the cards that are potentially in their hand. Okay. I can Wasteland their Wasteland, and then cycle for an Underground Sea, and have access to mana. I am going to Wasteland their Wasteland. They let that resolve. Swamp Cycle Troll. I could get Underground Sea and have up Borrower for this turn, or Sewers and get some selection. I think I want the bounce available to me. And I'm going to Petty Theft this Vial on 2 before it gets to 3. 3 is the scary number. And now I'm going to try to rain fire from above with my 3-1 attackers. And now they got to fetch. Basic Mountain. The Vial's back. Did they draw a Wasteland? They've been running hot so far. Sting Scourger, what's up? Goodbye, Orc Army. They can start pushing damage. That's not really how you want to use a Sting Scourger, but it is breaking open the stalemate in a spot where you are otherwise in some trouble. Alright, now I have a fetch available for Undercity Sewers. Draining me with the Sting Scourger before it dies anyway. They did get a Vial up to 3 now, 2 cards in hand. They can keep pushing their 2 points. I'm not going to start blocking. Brazen Borrower, get in there. Fetch, hope you don't have Opposition Agent. Undercity Sewers. The other Undercity Sewers, get it into the graveyard. Don't need that. Okay, now I have Reanimate. If they have a 3-drop in their hand, attacking with Bowmaster is terrible. If they don't, it's good. I think I'm going to hold back. And I'm going to pass for now. Uh-oh. A lackey came in. Please don't have an answer. Oh no. 2 things? You had 2 random cards in your hand, and they happened to line up with the 2 Aether Vials? Jeez. Yeah, I'm super dead. Glad I didn't attack with Bowmasters, though. Jeez. Yeah, if they just get, like, Ringleader to reload, or Broadside Bombardiers might even push lethal right now. They did get Ringleader. And here it comes. I'm just trying to see more of their deck at this point. I'm very dead. Hordemaster, Bombardiers, Twin Shot Sniper. Yep, we're good. We're good. Well, that game was a study in everything going wrong for me and everything going perfect for them. Good shit. Okay, Force of Will. Out. Reconsidering Days coming in. If it's going to get grindy like that, Explosives is better than I may have originally thought. And if we're just bashing, Voidwalker is fine also. Like, that game was kind of strange because they kept a hand with no spells in it. It was a 6 with Leyline. They dropped Aether Vial and then had land. And they were just like, top of the deck, save me. And it did. So that might not be how every game looks. But Voidwalker applying pressure, that game would have been really good. Okay, no counter spells. We're just gaming. I like the Frog. I like this whole hand. I'm going to lead on Sewers. If they want to wasteland me, that's fine. I got stuff to do. Okay, another 6 with double Leyline. Sewer. I'll keep Underground Sea. If I can keep casting spells, I'll be okay. That's how I feel right now. Psychic Frog is sick. Gothic Voidwalker's sick. Entomb sucks, but it's a shuffle for Brainstorm. Yeah, they want to wasteland me. That's fine. I was ready. Here's a Swamp. I think I want to lead on Frog, not Voidwalker. Just get the card advantage rolling. Vial is fine. Not that I can do anything about it. Drew another Delta, which means basic island's an easy choice. This Entomb is also a nice way to make my Frog bigger. Okay, Psychic Frog, carry another game 3. This looks familiar. We've seen Sting Scourger. They might have Pyroblast. We'll see what's up over there. Okay, cool. Now I'm not even worried about a Vialed in Lackey. If they don't do anything, I'm not doing anything. I'm not going to discard cards just to push damage and maybe get removal spelled. Speaking of removal spells, I am just going to hold my horses right now. If they don't Vial in the end step, I'm probably going to Brazen Borrow in the upkeep. Yeah, I'll bounce this thing now. They can replay it, but they already showed me they didn't have something to do on 1. Yeah, Vial's back. You got it. And I can afford to get a Sewer here. Reef, right on the tippity top. I'll cast that. Please and thank you. What you got over there? Is it 4 lands? I'm actually okay with that this time. Twin Shot, Sling Gang, Matron. They can cast Matron next turn. The Twin Shot can channel. I can't kill Frog. I think I'm actually most concerned about the Matron. It's just the thing that happens the soonest and gives them the most options. Now I have Reanimate in my hand, where I wish I had taken their Twin Shot Sniper, but it's still fine. I'm doing things. I got a plan here. Got removal in my hand. Okay, that's land number 4. We now have full information. They're probably going to channel on Grief. That is what happened. But that means it's there for Reanimate to pick up. Multiple Entombs in my hand now. Might be time to start discarding those. I'll discard 1 at least. Keep some surprises. I am holding Brainstorm, so even bad cards are good cards right now. It's always a good place to be. I could play Voidwalker, hold up, go for the throat. I think I'm going to do that. I'll save Reanimating Twin Shot. No, saving Reanimate doesn't matter. Yeah, I'm going to Reanimate Twin Shot now and deal 2 to them. I was going to say I can kill the Sling Gang Lieutenant, but they could just sack it in response, and then I don't do any damage, and having this thing in play as an attacker is actually good. We have an uncounterable Lieutenant here, which can drain for 3 at will. There it is, can't counter it. I think the plan is just turn my squad sideways. Oh wow, that's good. If I do this on 1, it clears Vial. If I do it on 0, it clears the tokens before combat and I can attack for more. If I go for the throat, the Sling Gang Lieutenant first, they might even sack tokens, but I think they need them for blockers, so I'm going to do this first. Okay, sacked itself, it's in the void. I have access to that now if I want it. I'm just going to be aggressive here. I'm going to blow this for 0 and attack for the most, get my card draw. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is a 2-turn clock even if I don't discard the Entomb, so I won't do it yet. Wasteland, what's up? Take out the bad lands just in case there's a non-goblin black spell that might matter. I can't take them off Cavern of Souls, so going after the Badlands makes sense there. Goblin Lackey does not have haste. Okay, finally time to cast this Brainstorm. Been sitting on it my entire life. Reanimate, Animate Dead, Brazen Borrower. Well, Brazen Borrower seems really good here. Get rid of Entomb and Reanimate. Play my land. Bounce your Dingus. And we did it. Okay. We won the game where 0 interactions, 0 exchanges, 0 anything went our way. And then we won the 2 games where we did literally anything. Psychic Frog, another MVP versus Leyline of the Void. On to the next round. Welcome to TopDeck.gg, your community's home for everything competitive Magic has to offer. If you're hosting an event, playing for a huge prize, or advertising your events to thousands of players, we've got you covered. Using intuitive pairing software, playing Magic is a breeze. Players just have to sign up online, then scan the QR code in-store. Give competitors the gift of perfect information as their bracket updates in real time. The self-reporting software saves you time and leaves paper match slips in the past. Leave the heavy lifting to TopDeck.gg so your community can relax and focus on playing Magic. I'm on the draw in round 3 with a math hand. Let's actually figure this out. 1, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 9 draws that can immediately grief scam my opponent. I have another 5 draws on top of that, making 13, where I'm not embarrassed that I kept the hand. I have to mulligan this. 13 is about a third or a quarter of the deck. I can't wait 4 turns. I can't even wait 2 turns to hit my land drop here. I'm going to mulligan. Okay, here we go. I'm keeping this. And I'll probably put away Animate Dead. It's just the least efficient between Animate Dead and Reanimate, and those are the 2 cards that are bad in this hand. Island, go. Okay. I can Island Ponder here and bluff off of a Flooded Strand that I'm just doing normal BoshNRoll shit. Nothing to see here. I'm gonna put... Do I want this Wasteland, is the question. I want Brazen Borrower as a blue card for Force. The Troll is a target for Reanimate. I have to get rid of one of these 2 cards, because I'm going to draw 1 now, 1 next turn, and then I fetch and play Psychic Frog. I think I'd rather have Troll. No shuffle, off we go. End step Brainstorm. This feels like a mirror match all of a sudden. Okay, no Troll cycle. Okay, not a mirror. Cool. I could Brazen Borrow this, or I could force it, pitching Brazen Borrower. Kind of want to hold on to the other Force, just in case we end up in a fight here. Not that I want to lose Psychic Frog, but I can't just shove a Troll into play next turn without Frog. Force pitching Spell Pierce. Force pitching Psychic Frog. Okay. Glad I put the Troll on top. Cycle this Troll. Underground Sea. Reanimate Troll. We're against a blue-white deck, so I don't expect this thing to go coast to coast, but I did win that exchange and then put a threat into play. And now I'm behind again. I wonder if they just drew that, because forcing the first one seems really aggressive if you have a second one. Race is on, and I'm losing, though. And I just pitched a Brazen Borrower, which would have been an answer to Cauldra. I think the card selection of the Sewer is worth taking a turn off the clock here. I need to actually do something. Undercity Sewers. Hey, there's that boy. That was definitely worth a life point. They have another Force of Will. They do not. In we go. I don't think I need to play this land out. Volcanic Island, a 3rd color suddenly revealed. Swords of Plowshares. Okay, my life total's more comfortable now. Hope they don't have a 3 on top. In you come. I guess this land could have been another Undercity Sewers. I don't know what I was holding that for. I'm just going to play Brazen Borrower right now, when they don't have the ability to Brainstorm into this counterbalance. Dress down, sure. Okay, there's this. Dress down can let Stoneforge trade with Borrower, or they could just have more white removal, like that. Okay, I'm up to 13, they're going to attack me to 12, then I fetch down to 11, and now I have to fully rebuild into a dress down through counterbalance. No sweat, right? Well, if it happens, it starts with a Brainstorm. Fingers crossed, counterbalance, please miss. Jace the Mind Sculptor. Well, that can counter Grief. What do we know about Psychic Frog? Hello, hello. Would I rather Wasteland them, or have Psychic Frog be bigger this turn? Because I could just waste them off mana number 3. Or I could discard Atraxa this turn and actually kill one of these things in combat. I think I want the Wasteland. Okay, Wasteland. They have missed a land drop, and we know they're drawing a 4. Psychic Frog, you're up. Win me this game by yourself. They're holding Dress Down, Chase the Mind Sculptor, and 1 unknown right now. Top of my deck are both bricks. If they can clear Psychic Frog, if they just have like a Plow or Prismatic Ending, I'm in trouble. No attacks, okay. Dress down. All right, that stops it from getting flying, stops it from doing anything. I'm drawing Atraxa and passing. Oh, we got them back to treading water. Brainstorm's really good, though. Miss, 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 miss. I wonder if they fully recognize that I was Hellbent last turn, because I feel like attacking with Snapcaster was a pretty good deal. Yeah, I mean, now they could just have Swords to Plowshares up, wait for me to give this flying, and then I'm in trouble. Whatever, exile 3 lands, let this fly. I guess I'm not even really in trouble, and I don't have to discard. I want Atraxa to be dead in the graveyard, though. All right, yeah, discard Atraxa. If they just, like, priority danced me and I miss appointed damage, it's fine. Okay, they did not priority dance, and I did not miss appointed damage. I actually pushed more damage. Daze is an interesting item right now. Fetched a second Plains. I'm going to float black and daze this, picking up an Undercity Sewers. Please don't have a 2 on top. It was a 0 on top. We dazed Jace the Mind Sculptor in 2024. Wow! And it still wins the game now, as it did all those years ago. Okay, that was actually a really good back and forth game. That Psychic Frog was the hero we needed. Also, just top decking the 1 outer Brazen Borrower. I'm not going to complain about that. I'm kind of interested in being a no Reanimator full juke situation right now. If my Animate Deads, big monsters, and Entombs come out, this is a bunch more attacking creatures, some reasonable removal for Stoneforge Mystic, and I guess Engineered Explosives. We've seen Counterbalance, Stoneforge, Snapcaster. Unlicensed Hearse lines up against Snapcaster as well. We also saw a gajillion basic lands. I think I'm gonna... Oh, but all of my things that I actually want in play cost 2. That doesn't mean I'm gonna have something in play, though. I might just be out of luck. Do I want Hearse? Do I want Hearse just for this Snapcaster Mage? The card is really good against me. Okay. Full juke, only monsters. No big reanimations. I will keep my hand. It has access to basic lands. Opponent's deck might even have back to basics in it. We've seen all the tools. Oh, well, that's messed up. Okay, Grief You. Maybe I'm supposed to play out the Polluted Delta in case I have to daze the Swords to Plowshares here. Okay. Well, Swords to Plowshares, Counterbalance, Batterskull. I'm going to take Swords to Plowshares, and I will not be reanimating this. So they did have Plow, which means I should have played the land, but it looks like I'm not getting punished for it. I probably have to daze this Counterbalance, though. Okay, I'm going to fetch for Undercity Sewers. Do I want Fatal Push? Nah, that's in the graveyard. Daze this. Their hand, when we last saw it, does not have a good answer to this, nor a good plan after it happens. Okay, Sewers is back. Oh, I should have Wastelanded. I'm such a coward. Speaking of being a coward, I don't want to put Underground Sea in my graveyard when they have 2 Surgicals, and there's an Underground Sea in my hand. All right, I'm going with Psychic Frog, and hoping that the 1 unknown card doesn't answer it. They don't have white mana right now. Pyroblast is the card I could be concerned about. Yep, there it is. Great. Yeah, if I Wastelanded first, that wouldn't have been a concern. Don't know how long I'm supposed to dance around that, though. Okay, they're exiling frogs in my upkeep. That's fine. It's a good card to be rid of, but that was not part of my plan this turn. And that's 1 surgical down. Wander. Bowmaster, go for the 3. We'll take it. I'll take Bowmaster. And I actually do have to Wasteland right now, because if they rip a land and play Batterskull, I am dead. Heckin' dead. But if we can settle into a draw-go situation, maybe I can hard punish a cantrip in the near future. I'm not going to flash in Bowmaster just down and dirty like this. I was a little worried about getting ambush vipered by a Snapcaster Mage. They're just over there being mono blue, though. Alright, I can beat a Snapcaster Mage. I have Go for the Throat available now. 1 to you. Grief. The Grief is actually sick because they saw that I had Reanimate off the first Surgical, which means they didn't rip the Griefs out of my deck because that would turn on Reanimate, and now I just drew and cast a Grief in a spot where it's bonkers. They do have a Snapcaster. I think I am more worried about Batterskull, though. Though, I can Reanimate Snapcaster Mage. They need to draw any land to cast Batterskull. A white land, if I take Batterskull and they draw a white land and they have Snap Plow available, that does collapse my whole plan. This is actually really tight. I don't think taking Plow makes sense because they can't cast it right now, and they can just snap it back if they draw the land. It's between Batterskull and Snapcaster. I'm going to take Batterskull. I think it's too easy for that one to work out for them. Just in with the Orc army for now. All right, let's fade a white mana for a turn or two. And if they have to Brainstorm or Ponder to look for it, the Bowmaster punishes that. The Void, it beckons. Wish I had that before I stripped their Batterskull. It's way better now. I will play this thing, though. Doing it now. That way, if anything happens in combat, I just get it. I'm going to pretend I don't have a removal spell in my hand. Ponder. Necessary evil. And the Voidwalker means they can't snap the Ponder, and they're just done. Sick. All right. I've played enough of these decks to know that when you do get wasted off a color or when your basics don't line up right, like I think if they just have one basic planes at any point in these 9 turns that we've played, I'm actually way behind here. But they didn't. And we remain undefeated. The BoshNRoll channel is proudly partnered with the Resleevables.
Good. All right, here we go, gang.
In this YouTube series, hosts Cedric Phillips and Patrick Sullivan take us on a set-by-set journey through the good, the bad, and the ugly of Magic's history. Each episode is a focused deep dive into the facts about a set's design and release, the Magic lore expressed through the cards in that set, Tournament Edition gameplay videos featuring products and Pro Tour decks of the era, an award show that shouts out the best and weirdest cards of the set, and a final grade for the set's overall success. Whether you want a history lesson or a nostalgia hit, The Resleevables has it at youtube.com/TheResleevables. I'm on the play in round 4 with a hand that it's really bad if I get wastelanded, but I think I am going to keep it. My opponent's name is Brainstorm Locked. Why would you manifest that for yourself? Funny name, but I couldn't live with it. I'm going to Undercity Sewers, and Grief is actually not useful here because I have no black cards to pitch, and it's not a land if I get wastelanded. But it being in the graveyard does turn on Reanimate as a live thing I can dig for. Underground Sea. Cabal Therapy. Well, likely to name Force of Will. Most decks that would Therapy on turn 1 name Force of Will in the blind, or Brainstorm, both of which I have. Oh wow, they named Reanimate. Too clever for their britches. Draw Reanimate, draw Reanimate, draw Reanimate. I had a chance to do the funniest thing. I suppose I will wasteland them and just hold up. Decks with Cabal Therapy that care about being griefed. I have Forced Days in my hand, and I can Brainstorm to move cards around if I need to. Is this Cephalid Breakfast? That's kind of what it looks like. Esper deck with Cabal Therapy. Unless it's something off meta, it's Cephalid Breakfast. I think this is a spot where I end step a Brainstorm and just see if I can spin up some goods. Well, those qualify as goods in my book. I'm going to put back Undercity Sewers, and it's actually really interesting. Do I waste them? Do I just send it with double protection? I probably just send it with double protection. And I have to put the Wasteland back, but I can just redraw it. I can Entomb in my upkeep to shuffle, or I could draw and keep the Wasteland. Okay, I'm going to Entomb. Do I want Atraxa or Archon in this spot? Probably just Atraxa to make sure I can fully refill. Reanimate. They know I have Force and Daze here. If they want to start a fight, I am happy to have it. Force of Will pitching Narcomoeba. Cephalid Breakfast confirmed. Daze you. And yeah, okay. They were hoping I just forgot I had Daze in my hand. Okay, Cephalid Breakfast is the matchup. 3 Voidwalkers come in. Surgicals come in. Unlicensed Hearse. Engineered Explosives is kind of fine, but I don't think I need it. This matchup just seems wildly positive to me. Maybe I back off and Animate Dead 1 or 2 Dazes, though they are a combo deck. Is this a spot where I shave off Psychic Frog? Do you ever shave a Psychic Frog? I could cut all my big nonsense and just focus on stopping their combo. That would look like I get a bunch of removal spells in also. The problem is I do think this matchup is extremely dumpsterable. I think I can shove Atraxa versus them pretty reliably. Engineered Explosives looks like the worst of the pile of cards that I have here. Okay. Yeah, I'll just try a full pivot and keep all my counterspells in. Okay, I can Grief them and Surgical them. I'm keeping. Wasteland's pretty good. They're a 3-color deck with Urza Saga. Mull to 5. Misty Rainforest. Unlicensed hearse. Cool. Well, I'll say goodbye to one of these frogs to grief you. Let's have a look at this 4-card hand. Do they have a 4th color? Am I about to get Veil of Summered out of the Nadu deck? No, just a 2 for 2, Swords to Plowshares on that, that's fine. You've got a Surgical, a Brainstorm, and a Ponder. Unfortunately, if I had sandbagged my land, I would be able to waste them here and then they're just not even playing. I could make them live up to their name. Leave them the Brainstorm. That doesn't shuffle itself. Brainstorm can change multiple cards, though. I'm going to leave them with Ponder. And be bummed out that I made my land first to play around Days. And instead, I just lose this Wasteland value, this sick non-game Wasteland value. There's your Ponder. They did not shuffle, and they found Flooded Strand. Good stuff for you. Bad stuff for me. Okay, I was about to say, if I draw a land that casts it, I will play Frog. That didn't happen. I could Wasteland them. I could also Wasteland them and then Surgical Tundras out of their deck. Or I could just play Unlicensed Hearse and make it so they can't combo kill me. That sounds reasonable. Here's the fetch. Yep, glad I didn't try to waste their Tundra. That would have been such a spew when there's a Meticulous Archive in the deck. They milled over Cabal Therapy. That is value. I don't need to do anything about that until they have a creature in play, though. Saga. Cephalid Illusionist. Okay. I don't think they would sack that straight up to Cabal Therapy. Okay, Exile Therapy and one of the lands, I guess. I'm kind of leaving juicy targets in case I want to fire off a Surgical. A Daze, okay. I really want to waste this Urza Saga, but I'm not really doing anything after that point. I think it's still just right to do that. Handle it. That is both the ticking time bomb on their combo and also multiple threats that I would have to answer with my hand that is currently struggling to do it. Unlicensed Hearse, take out Flooded Strand, and Swords to Plowshares. I might want to extract the Sagas. We'll see. Second Days. My goodness. Okay, so they have Surgical Extraction in their hand and nothing else going on. I think I want to Surgical Sagas in their draw step. Take your Urza Sagas. Long dramatic pause. They might extract their own Sagas. Oh, Memory's Journey. That's cool. Okay, I will take the Saga and the Brainstorm. Just don't want Saga in there. I've never seen Memory's Journey in this, but it is a legal play. And I did just tap out of interaction for their combo, but I know that they don't have their combo because that was the card they just drew. And I could still Daze a Nomad, even if they did somehow have one. If they cheated and snuck it into their hand, we were still fine. Oh my goodness. All right. Now we should be able to take over pretty easily. Forg. Surrender yourself to the Forg. Okay, they just didn't do anything. I'm going to exile their Memory's Journey and see if they want to snap it off. They did not. Cephalid Illusionist flavor text might be relevant here. Dealt 2 and dealt by target creature you control. They could like block tap, but then they have to mill 3 just straight into my Reanimates and Unlicensed Hearse. Or they could just give me cards. Or they could let this die. Nope, looks like they are using the flavor text. Green mana revealed. Nadu confirmed. And we are getting a mill. Shuko Plains Soul Guide Lantern. You got it. I'm going to play this Wasteland and not activate it. Because I'm still worried about Urza Saga more than anything. Surgicaling my Surgicals. Okay. Have a look. I could have tapped Unlicensed Hearse to stop that, but I think it's better to just have Unlicensed Hearse untapped. I could Daze a Teferi. I could bounce Illusionist in response to a problem. Okay, that resolves. They are starting to equip. I'll let them mill 3 and then see where this is going. Do I want to bounce this? Do I care? I think I'm just going to bounce it. I can Daze it on the way back down. This is just really weird and suspicious that they would start comboing off into a onboard Unlicensed Hearse, though maybe they were just trying to make Illusionist a 2/1 so it can trade with Psychic Frog. Except that it can't actually because it'll be way bigger than that. Okay, I've wiggled my way out of whatever that was. There's now 2 Illusionists in their graveyard. I forgot to tap Hearse in the end step, just thinking about how much fun it's going to be to draw cards with Psychic Frog. Troll of Khazad-dûm. That thing hits pretty hard. So if I waste your green, cycle Troll, Underground Sea, reanimate Troll, I now have a very real clock, double Daze, and Unlicensed Hearse still up. They have land number 3, so it is going to take both Dazes to clear this Illusionist. And they clearly just have some plan here to beat the unlicensed hearse. I don't really know what their list is doing. Normally, this would be disqualifying to try to go off into in stock lists, but yeah, I don't know. We saw Memory's Journey. That's weird. We see Green Mana. That's weird. They must have some plan to beat an onboard hearse, but I could just beat them with my fair spells anyway. And we've got a trophy match.
We're a few rounds into the video. Thanks for sticking with me. Friendly reminder that if you're still here and having fun, smash that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, you can use my affiliate link for TCG Player to support the channel while you shop for cards, and you can try any deck anytime with a cardhoarder.com loan account for Magic Online. All these links are in the video description below. Now back to the league.
I'm on the draw in the final round, the trophy round, and I have both Grief, black card Reanimate, and Force blue card. We call this the Nuts. Flooded Strand. Normally my jam, but today, a coward's and fool's errand. Do I play around Daze? I don't think so. Grief pitching the Entomb. Sucks to lose Entomb when I'm about to punch a hole like this, but I don't have another way to string something together. Like, I guess I had just Entomb Reanimate with Force backup, but I would still rather take the safe route of Grief. It's called it Grease. It's a time, it's a place, it's a motion. Okay, Grief you, what's going on over there? What's your Flooded Strand up to? If they have Swords to Plowshares, it's actually really good. I think I Force of Will of Plow. Yeah, let's cause chaos here. Let's put everyone in the dirt. My hand is all cantrips anyway. I did just tell them straight up I am holding Reanimate. Okay, this is Stifle Knot. They just pitched a Stifle. It's a Tundra. I'm going to brainstorm in response. If I find a Daze here, I'm sending it. Okay, no Daze, just Psychic Frog. I can live with that. Undercity Sewers and Psychic Frog on top of my deck. And then I lose the fight over Plow. I Grief your 3-card hand. Wow, look at you. Okay, I mean, Grief did end up getting 3 cards out of their hand, but also mine. Wasteland, Misty Rainforest is actually pretty strong. The double Wasteland is brutal. Okay, we are simply drawing through our Ponder cards and seeing what comes up. Played the Misty. Guess that's fine. My land's entering tapped, unfortunately. Just find another land. Another Reanimate doesn't help me. That's in the graveyard. Okay, this is getting dicey. A really knock them down, grind them out start to the game. And they are in a good spot to start pulling ahead. They kept their card on top. Terrifying. The other Wasteland. Goodbye, my other land. Come on, land. Blue source. All right, well, I'm not going to complain. Bowmaster. I'm going to just reanimate that. Let's just get something on the board here. Cast some spells. Flush out some interaction. Ping you. Okay. I'm on the board now. Cantrips are worse for them. If they just shove a Phyrexian Dreadnought into play, I'm likely to lose. The third Wasteland. Glad I got this Bowmaster in. Prismatic Ending. Okay. I'm pushing damage. They're not. They just used a removal spell that would have been good on Psychic Frog. I'm just going to draw a blue source? Nope. Alright, the third Wasteland. Got to be pretty good. Usually are. And let's see where we go from here. They know they're over the hump. They didn't do anything, though. Okay. I guess I will attack. If they flash in Doorkeeper Thrall, they can eat this for freezies. Looks like they didn't have it. But I do have Big Frogger. Okay, I'm on board. I'm ahead again. If this is Stifle Knot, they could turn the corner with a 12/12 off 2 or 3 mana at basically any time. Though that also means they might be sitting on some stuff like Phyrexian Dreadnoughts and Dress Downs that don't really help much right now. Doorkeeper Thrall is in... I can Brainstorm. No, I'm going to Brainstorm. Maybe I'll Daze it. Grief, a Reanimate, and an Entomb. Alright, well, I can just Entomb Reanimate after combat. Though, now that's worse. Because Atrax and Archon both don't have abilities. I think that's still worth sending, though. I'm going to put these 2 cards back. And I still get to draw. Because they took the coward block. Entomb, Archon of Cruelty. Reanimate Archon of Cruelty. It doesn't trigger on entry, but it does still attack. If they Swords to Plowshare it, I just gain 6 life back, but I'm making them have it. And that's a plow that's not going on Psychic Frog. Wow! What a slobber knocker that was. Okay, Fatal Push comes in, Engineered Explosives comes in, Brazen Borrower comes in. This is the Dreadnought deck. We didn't see any Dreadnoughts there. They're also a pretty reasonable blue-white control deck besides. They're full of Stifles, Rest Downs, and Doorkeeper Thralls, which means my ETB effects are less reliable. So maybe I just want to pivot off them. Force and Daze. Like, Force is mid. Daze is actually really good. Yeah, I'm just going to sign up for the scrappy game. Does kill Null Drifter and Doorkeeper Thrall. Alright, yeah, I think I need to go for the throats. Animate Dead is out, and maybe one Force of Will. Is Daze better than Force on the draw? Alright, one Daze out. I'd love to reanimate one of their Null Drifters. That would be great. I have Grief and a black card. I can also ponder first to see if I find a less interesting black card to Grief off of. I do also have to respect Stifle just as a card that could affect my mana. They did shuffle their library. Well, hello, Grief Scam. Well, now I'm going to pitch Psychic Frog because I can actually reanimate this thing. I've played around Daze. What you got over there? Thrall, Force, Brainstorm, Ponder. I think I want to take the Force first. Or I could take the Ponder and see if they want to force the Reanimate. Because then they lose 3 cards. And they can't cantrip further. And I'm going to try to attack their mana. In the form of attacking their cantrips. Can't get basic Swamp here. I don't think I would, even if I could. Okay, they did Force of Will that, meaning that their hand is now 3 uncastable white cards. And they pass without a play. We're doing it. I'm going to Ponder and then play Undercity Sewers. Oh wow, they dazed my Ponder. I think they're just kind of spiraling out over there. Or projecting onto me. Using my Psych 101 terminology there. They're like, I only have 1 land, and I'm about to miss a land drop. Certainly my opponent is too. Unfortunately for them, that was not the case. I do think it's better to brainstorm and do stuff than to just start shoving 3/1 flyers into play. Wow, look at this. Okay, put back these removal spells, shove Dothy Voidwalker, and begin the beatdowns. They do have Prismatic Ending. If they find a land, they can answer this. They have 1 unknown card in hand, could be Swords to Plowshares. And indeed it was. Alright, sure. They are still very much treading water over there. Wasteland. I don't think they can afford to waste me. You need that for your Thralls. Yeah, they're just playing 1 now before I can blow them out with a Daze. I have 2 answers to Thrall, though. If they put a Dreadnought on the stack, I am blowing them out. And if they waste me, I'll just Fatal Push the Thrall in response. And if they do nothing, I'll just flash in a Brazen Borrower. Yep, straight in creature mode. There's nothing to bounce here. This flash creature can just come back. The race is on. And I will go for the other Thrall's throat if it jumps in here. Yep, they did not do that. A second Thrall. Insulating versus removal, but I can kill 2 of these things. Please put a Dreadnought on the stack. Oh yeah! Alright, go for the throat of 1 of these. They have 1 unknown card. It better not be Daze. And I'm getting greedy here. I could just Fatal Push the Dreadnought, but I'm trying to get 2 cards out of my 1 card. We might get a scoop on the spot here. No! I deserve this. Alright, that's fine. I can still Brazen Borrow the Dreadnought and try again. That was the most fucked up 1 card they could have in their hand, though. I went for the Gusto. Oh, they said they misclicked. Wait, did they Daze their Dreadnought? What's going on here? Well, there's nothing I can do. There's no way I can play to do this differently. But yeah, they did Daze their Dreadnought, not my Fatal Push. Wow, that's super awkward. Yeah, it's not like I can pretend Dreadnought's in play here. I'm not going to concede either because I have removal in my hand. Yeah, that's awkward. Yeah, they just said, let me know if I would have got it at the end. I said I have Borrower in my hand. We would have gone back and forth a bit. It's hard to say right now who would actually be winning here. I think this troll is more useful as an Undercity Sewers than as a troll. Wasteland, I will put that on top. Yeah, so they would have replayed Dreadnought this turn. I would have another Brazen Borrower in exile. They go to 9. I go to also 9. They go to 3. I would have had to top deck another answer here. All of this because I was greedy, but also, like, that was a pretty bad misclick. But we take the trophies how they come. 5 and 0. a clutch misclick at the end of the final round, but I mean, this deck just tore apart this league. We played against a big smattering of different types of decks, different strategies, and we just have something for all of it. Psychic Frog was a complete MVP. Multiple leagues, just this thing just crushing through Leyline of the Void, or the one where it was just bigger than all the creatures that came out of the Eldrazi deck was the one where I was really sold. Yeah, I don't like that this exists. I hope it doesn't in August. But while we have it, if you're interested in winning legacy tournaments, I can strongly endorse this deck. Rob, thank you for sharing it with me. Everyone else, thanks for following. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check out the Patreon. I'll see you next time.